Hello, I'm the Eternal Newbie. The extra L is for livid, as in many D&D fans are livid at Wizards of the Coast right now. That's right, we got us some drama going on, people. If you are unaware, Wizards of the Coast is the company that owns Dungeons & Dragons, and they have done goofed. Before we get into it though, a couple of caveats. First, I am not a lawyer, though I did used to watch a bunch of Law & Order, so I feel pretty confident I can explain any legal terms we run into. Second, all the information we're going to discuss comes from a leak. I hear the source of the leak is legitimate, but let's all take it with a grain of salt. Now, as you have probably heard by now, Wizards is changing their OGL or Open Game License. That part is definitely not rumor. They officially announced they're going to OGL 1.1 a few weeks ago, but they didn't give us many details. If you're like me, you probably have heard the term, but you don't really know what OGL means. Basically, it's a license that allows people to create, publish, and sell their own content based on the Dungeons & Dragons setting and rules. If you ever watched my Heir of Orcus videos, that was a good example of third-party content. And if you haven't, check them out. They are good videos. Though I do gotta apologize for the art style. I was going through my kindergarten chic phase when I made them. As it stands right now, anyone can make anything original based on Dungeons & Dragons and sell it. The system works, and dare I say, helps generate more interest in D&D. But there is a lot of money involved, so of course Wizards needs to swoop in and fix what's not broken. The first thing they are proposing, according to the leaks, is making all creators report their sales figures to Wizards of the Coast. And any creators who make more than 750,000 gold pieces, dollars, must give Wizards 25% of their revenue, unless of course they're funded by Kickstarter, then it's only 20%. Although fun fact, if they're funded by any other crowdfunding source except Kickstarter, it's still 25%. Wizard leaves the door open to collect money from people making less than that, but at the moment, it's only those making over $750K that would have to pay. You might be thinking to yourself, what's the big deal? $750,000 is a lot of money. But many of these creators are working on razor-thin margins, and this would basically force them to quit the business. And I cannot state this strongly enough, think this is a terrible idea. It is going to stifle creativity, and honestly, I cannot think of anyone other than those corporate people at Wizards who would actually defend it. 100, 200, 300, 400. Whatever comes after 400. Oh, sorry. I was just counting my bribe, or my consulting fee from a new magical water sponsor, let's just say that. On a completely unrelated note, I, for one, am 100% in favor of this new OGL. Poor Wizards is barely scraping by. According to estimates, they only profited $100 million last quarter. Can you imagine? Why, with his piddling bonus, the company president couldn't even afford that 300-foot yacht he had his eye on. And he really wanted it. Poor guy had to settle for a 270-foot jobber. And that barely even qualifies as a super yacht. And did you know, when their board does their money fights, where they throw stacks of money at each other while laughing maniacally, they have to use 50s now instead of 100s. What's next? Generic caviar at the board meetings? Ugh. I just threw up a little bit in my mouth. I think we can all agree Wizards is right, and everyone else who says this is a bad idea, and I literally mean everyone, except for corporate shields and fanboys, well, they're all wrong. Oh, but it gets so much worse. There's a part which says, for any content created under the updated OGL, regardless of whether or not it is owned by the creator, Wizards will have a non-exclusive, perpetual, irrevocable, worldwide, sub-licensable, royalty-free license to use that content for any purpose. Which means they will be able to take anyone's original content and do whatever they want with it. Doesn't matter if the creator hits that $750,000 limit or not. If Wizards wants to sell it, they can. If they want to sell the rights to another company, they can do that too. If they want to see how the other half lives and stop wiping their butts with $100 bills and use your content instead, they can legally do that. If they want to sleep with it on the night of your marriage, well, I think you get the point.
They can do whatever they want with anything you create. I believe if this doesn't kill, it is going to severely hamper a vibrant and amazing community. Why would anyone create something if they know wizards can just take it? I mean, sure, the creator could attempt to also sell it, but I wonder who's going to win that battle. The multi-million-dollar corporation that is part of a multi-billion-dollar corporation, or Joe from down the street. So basically, if you create something and it becomes super popular, wizards can be the toddler in the room pointing at that and say, mine, mine, mine. And good luck fighting them. Wizards of the Coast is going to try and frame this as if they are funding their own competition with the current OGL, and they're just trying to protect themselves from losing money. Do not buy it. D&D is extremely profitable for Wizards. I would bet much more profitable now than it has ever been in the past. They just want a bigger piece of the pie for themselves. This is nothing more than corporate greed, and that's the worst kind of greed, because they already own the vast majority of that pie. And that is not enough for them. So, what do you have to say about that one, corporate shill?
Okay, y'all gonna have to give me a minute on this one. It's a little bit harder to defend. Think, Biff, think. Alright, I can do this. I can do this. It's like that old Christmas movie, you know, about Scrooge and Tiny Tim and all those stupid ghosts. Our hero Wizard, aka the little guy, is being kept down by the evil monster, aka independent creators, aka Tiny Tim, who sends his evil minions, i.e. the ghosts, to change Scrooge from the righteous and nice and good man he is. Then, when he's trying to donate money to poor war orphans, they steal his cane and his goose. Then trip him up and run away, laughing at the poor, extremely rich man. At least I'm pretty sure that's how the movie goes. This is what you creators are doing to Wizards of the Coast. I hope you're proud of yourselves. I don't know about all of you, but I don't want to live in that kind of world. A world where corporations can't make hundreds of millions of dollars on the back of little people just trying to get by. What a nightmare.
There are a few other suspect things in the new OGL, like it limits what kind of content people can create, but I think you get the gist. There is a theory I've seen floated a few times that says Wizards leaked this abomination on purpose, so they could release a less horrible version, and people would be okay with it because, you know, it's not as bad as we thought it was going to be. But I'm not so sure about that. In my many years on this planet, I've learned there are only 4 things for certain. Death, taxes, corporations trying to squeeze every last penny out of people they possibly can, and Amazon sucking at making fantasy TV shows. Talking about you steaming pile of crap Wheel of Time series. Loyalty was one of Matt's defining personality traits. Sorry. Personally, if Wizards goes forward with this and screws up one of the best things about Dungeons & Dragons, you know, the independent creators, I'm going to find an alternative to play. There are hundreds of them, and I feel that strongly about this. But I would love to hear your thoughts on this one. So please drop me a comment letting me know. And if you think I'm a stupid hippie who lives in La La Land, you can tell me that. I'm a big boy, I can take it. I'll only cry behind the camera, not in front of it. I would especially love to hear from someone who actually thinks this is a good idea. So if that's you, hit me up. Thank you so much for watching, and remember, play your character. Don't let your character play you. Especially because Wizards is probably going to try and take them next.